Ladies, gentlemen, and our NBA comrades, welcome back here to the lower division of the DPC as we continue with this titanic clash between Infinity and Balrog Esports, where right now, off the back of the Parker TA, Infinity absolutely cleaved through Balrog Esports in Game 1, put themselves in a very good position, and now with one more game to go for them to clinch the victory, they're probably feeling pretty good about how their season is going to be going if they do manage to come away with this victory. We're going to see now in Game 2 whether or not they can double up their return. And to do that, to see how this goes, is myself, Snare, joined by the astute Astini. What do you feel? After seeing Game 1, you expected that they're obviously going to... I mean, we know they're banning Parker TA, right? So without the Parker TA, do they have a chance here on the side of Balrog Esports? Can they fight back? Can they punch them back in the nose?
I think they do have the chance, and I think they will repeat the Duza strategy, but now Duza won't be hard countered by Infinity best strategy, so this would make way more sense. That's what I am expecting them to do at the second match. Because, I know they missed some part of our conversation on first match, but it was basically me telling, like, why didn't they ban TA? Of course, Infinity is going to ban TA. It's going to pick TA if they don't ban it. It's obvious why they're letting to the second phase, and then they let it. But now, different approach, and we got to see if they go for the Duza, the TB. Those are the best strategies they have to show, and they're pretty good with it.
Well, let's see what they got for themselves on the side of Balrog Esports. Will we have a Game 3? The second draft will tell us all we need to know. And you know what we need to know? We just need to know that Parker not playing TA, sorry. So, too good, too strong. For Infinity, they did an interesting thing here where they still maintain the Marana, but they picked the Tidehunter, for their offlane. Balrog, though, is still deciding to stick with the Smars. Wasn't that effective in Game 1, but it might have had to do with the lane they played it into from the mid. So potentially now we see this being shifted over to Draken, because it also doesn't feel like Draken had a particularly impactful game on the Legion Commander. So at least get some more guaranteed team fight on the Mars instead.
Yeah, and it's one of the best Draken heroes, the Mars, so it would make sense that they leave the hero for the offlane. But being honest, I already don't like their opening because it feels like they lost confidence on their best strategy. Because, if you see, they played twice against Wolf with Duza and they won both games. And then they played once with Duza against Gorilla's Pride, against a Tidehunter, by the way, and they won. And then Gorilla's Pride banned the hero. So they just lost once with the hero against a big counter and the best strategy of Infinity. I don't get why, like, losing confidence so easily at your best strategy. I feel like Infinity, they did not only win Game 1, but they already like ahead on this mental warfare for the Game 2.
Mental warfare is a major aspect of this game right now. Wingblade talks about it a lot, right? About map pressure, hero pressure, and mental pressure. Add some confusion to things. I mean, there is still a possibility of Infinity avoiding banning the Medusa. I mean, we did have Balrogs not banning the Parker TA, but it does seem a little bit less likely, especially with this first ban in the second phase. You're taking out Luna. Obviously, you need to take out Luna. You're playing Tidehunter in the offlane, but this is the kind of hero that if you're banning Luna, you probably can ban Medusa and feel okay with it and not mind too much. So now Balrogs have to adopt potentially a very different way of looking at things and how to approach the game. But let's say we do live in a world where Infinity don't ban the Medusa. Do they have a counter strategy ready, you think, outside of the TA? Or do you think Balrogs will just snap it up easily, then just cruise to victory off the back of their best strategy being available?
I mean, for sure they have another way to deal with it, because it was very weird that they let the TA go through. It was really weird. So Infinity, they were almost sure that they would not have the TA. It's just like a mistake Balrogs did that I don't think they were expecting. So I'm pretty sure they still have another answer to it. And now they have this really good ban on Kanka because they don't have the Kanka themselves, and it's one of the best Robo-Z heroes. They see Batriders banned, one of the biggest counters for Kanka. So it's an interesting ban. I think they can just let the Duza through, especially because now Balrogs, they didn't ban to protect Aduza because if they pick the Dusa, they have to ban like PL, Morphling. So having PL open, you should be pretty fine here that Dusa is still open.
Yeah, especially because on the second phase, Balrog was going 1-2, a little bit blind into what the core matchup is going to be. So a little bit iffy, a little bit scary for them to pick a Medusa into that matchup. Like you say, with the heroes that can generally counter the Medusa still being available in the draft. Infinity, though, is still going to make the decision. We still actually have to decide if the hero is getting removed or not with this final ban here in this phase. And they take out the LC, so no protection from LC, no Kunkka for potential big plays with Mars and or Kokorum. And they go for this Gyrocopter. Presumably this is going to be the +5 Gyrocopter. I haven't seen carry Gyro in so long that I don't even remember what it plays like. I mean, of course we remember what it plays like. We're all haunted by those memories. But where does this Gyro go actually? What is the plan here for Infinity utilizing this hero? Is it indeed going to be their +5, or are they going to start try and run some interesting and aggressive safe lane or mid Gyrocopter in this game?
It's damage into the arena, which I think Balrogs will go for a Dark Willow also with that same approach. But I think Gyro, they can actually play hard carry. I've seen Actor play the hero. He was godlike on the hero. So you can still play both roles, but since they picked here, it really looked like a position 5 that you have great lane, you offer some damage on that arena. Sounds like an interesting pick, especially because you don't show much of your draft.
I suppose as well they can also decide to come back, right, with this Gyro and do something else for last pick.
Yeah, and Balrogs, they have to show a core here, and then they can counter that core on the 18, and then Balrogs has to show another core, and they get to counter it again. So it's fine just showing your position 5 here, and like later on the last pick, you can decide if you have like a clutch position 5 last pick. I don't know which one would be like AA, Undying. Sometimes you have those games, right? But otherwise, I guess it's just a 5 Gyro.
Yeah. 5 Gyro, a hero that can have mixed success playing in that role, but certainly you've mentioned all the good things about him. And in a game like this, just having additional burst damage, always really nice when you have Tidehunter to be able to drop down a nice AoE spell atop the Ravage. Infinity now have to respond to the Ember Grimstroke duo. Balrogs, with this Grimstroke, every time I see this hero, I want to see it with Inkswell partners. Certainly does have some of those in this game. The Mars on the one side, Ember on the other. So they should be able to get forward and utilize that big stun quite nicely. It's decent enough harass. You know, Phantom's Embrace also quite nice against Tidehunter. Hero can't just immediately dispel it off. Has to actually sit there right-clicking, which Tidehunter hates to do. And it's a little bit of, you know, Stroke of Fate damage. Not a lot, but I can definitely... There's a lot of combos, right? They need to get like a Bushwhack, Searing Chains, dive in from Ember, Stroke on everyone, Inkswell on multiple heroes. It does feel fairly execution heavy here from Balrogs. Like they have to keep their eyes on the ball pretty much the entire time, but against the Sven, oof, BKB carrier, not much burst magic damage from Balrogs early on in the game outside of December Spirit. This feels like definitely a good hero to be able to snag at this stage of the game here, Astini. What do you make of having this Sven, especially since they definitely needed some kind of big physical damage themselves at this stage of the draft for Infinity?
Yeah, as you mentioned, they need to use so much spells to take down the Tidehunter that makes sense that you just pick another fat car, because then they just don't have the damage to kill both of them. So either they use everything on the Tidehunter and try to kill him before the Ravage pops out, but then you have this Sven doing massively damage. It's really hard to kill both Tide and Sven. There is still Razor open, which would be a way that... Oh, no. Razor was the first ban, so there's like Timber, that is a way of reducing those guys' HP, but then you have to play Ember safe lane. There's DP also if you want to play the Ember safe lane, because otherwise maybe a Lifestealer in the long fight against those targets.
Lifestealer could work. I could see a Lifestealer coming out. I mean, there's stuns on the side of Infinity. With the sole exception, actually no, there's no exceptions. Pretty much everything, if you're fast enough on the fingers, you can dodge with Rage, unless they come from Vision, of course. You have high right-click attack speed, can take out the homing missile if it's going towards a different target. You can scale decently against Sven for the late game. It's a life stealer in that matchup into the Tide, so the lane is fine. You can definitely see it. You have a partner as well with the Ember Spirit who can get you quickly into the fight. Yeah, why not? Why not this life stealer? I mean, I can't really imagine what other heroes are really left in the draft right now that are both very good in the lane against Tide, good against Sven as he scales into the game, and capable of adding consistent and sustained damage for themselves. Because I think it's kind of too late right now to try and angle towards big burst, right? You have to be all in on somebody who can take a fight over a period of time. Potentially a BKB buyer or somebody that has magic immunity would really help in that situation. So I can't think of many other options, in fact, right now instead of that lifestealer.
Yeah, they can go for a TB. Okay, lifestealer's banned, so they
Never
need
mind.
to think also on other options. I think TB might be one option. I just can see TB here, to be honest. Wraith King, if that's a comfort, but like it's not a good lane against Tidehunter, right?
Yeah.
It's just like because it's comfort of some South American players. There's Faceless Void, but you don't have any damage inside Chronos, so for me it doesn't make sense. I would go with the TB. That's the hero I see it working. Okay, I
My
feel
man
happy because I'm
Astini.
on the same page. Yeah.
Astini is
And
out here.
now you have PP Invoker open, and also his Void Spirit. Invoker has great lane against Ember. Wait. Okay.
Astini, y'all. Astini. This is why this man's out here telling us exactly what's up. Little do y'all know that the only reason you couldn't hear us in the first draft is because he was dropping so much heat. Dota's like, nah, guys, relax. Can't be this good on the predictions. We still have to maintain some sense of causality, but he can see the future, saw the TB coming, saw the Invoker coming. And Infinity, I really love this Invoker pick, man. Alacrity eventually is going to be there for the Sven, so the normal dynamic of the matchup you have against TB, where eventually TB is too much, not really going to be that much of a problem. You have a lot of setup for yourself. The Invoker, at some point as well, if this game goes late enough, can scale into getting Aghanim Scepter, and I love having Blink Ravage with Cataclysm on top of it. It's such an absurd amount of damage that there's very little you can do about, and even heroes like the TB could easily find himself getting bursted in those situations in the game, so this is a great Invoker pick, I think. And the lane against Robo-Z. I mean, we've used to see one of the reasons that Crosswork Invoker came back into the meta was to deal with this Ember Spirit spamming this mid lane. So he's already feeling good about himself in the lane matchup as well.
Yeah, he's gonna have amazing lane. He can scale. He has like weak supports on the other side that he can get kills with the urn. Also has amazing alacrity carry that, attack speed for Sven means so much. I can see that Infinity Draft working so well. Again, I'm very hyped because what they show on the first game, but I'm also expecting Balrogs to put up a fight because Balrogs has been playing so well during not only the second division, but on the qualifiers. They were the first team to qualify. And TB is the second comfort of Berna. So they would usually go with Duza or TB on the first phase. So still we can expect Balrogs to put up a show here. Also, Balrogs now, they're on the Radiant side, which gives you some priority on the Roche team fight, a bit better Roche. So I'm expecting to be a good match here.
Yeah, it definitely is one of these matchups that I think can go quite well for them if they do. I think it's going to be really important. We saw last game how big the lanes were for both teams, and this game, obviously, Balrogs, they have protection for the Terrorblade, right? It's not like he's playing completely out in the wind. There's ways to get in front of him, protect him, keep heroes from climbing onto him. And on the side of Infinity, they don't have that much catch and reach themselves. They need to buy Blink Daggers for the Tidehunter, for the Sven, to really get in close to where the TB is. So definitely have hope. They definitely have the chance. Infinity, they want game 2 to be in their favor, but Balrogs certainly searching to get into game 3. Let's see whose search will be successful as we get into the game. Let's go! Let's go.
And they're fighting Drakel. No. He broke the smoke.
Nice. Last game, he got that little bit of extra lunch money. This time around, all he gets to do is break a smoke. No big play, but not dying, also pretty great. And I'm sure he's really tired of losing his life to these Infinity heroes. He was being targeted a lot in game 1. But they'll be able to take this positioning, secure themselves the double bounties here. They haven't plopped out a ward just yet, though. All right, PP finally does make one happen. Don't think anybody on the side of Balrog is aware of this. They also block this camp. Yo, Infinity are here to play. They really do not want to give Balrogs any opportunity. They're trying to smother them from the earliest possible chance.
Yeah, usually when you're playing against TB, you'd go more aggressive for runes because, you know, he doesn't want to pop up meta on the runes. But now the TBs, they just go for the first point at Reflection. As you can see, TB fighting a Tight Hunter at level 1. So that change on how you play the hero is quite curious and allows you to take more bounties as they did get 3.
Yeah. So this time around, they're not going to get the bonus gold from an Observer Ward. They get it from bounties. So we'll see Burner and Sexy Ogoge doing their thing in this bottom lane. But this time around, we have a much more interesting mid lane matchup. Still not as kill heavy as I would prefer my mid lane matchups to be these days, but massive rotation potential from this Ember Spirit. Great play potential from PP as well. So what happens in the lane and the CS and gold and experience that get exchanged here has a direct bearing on how well people on the other sides of the map are going to do. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come across here. I'm expecting just like, you know, I don't think we'll get any weird item builds from either of these guys, right? It should just be standard games from them.
Yeah, guess Volker is going for Urn, RoboZ, he's going for the Phase Boots, might go for an Orb of Corrosion to help TB input on... oh, they're going for the Green Stroke.
Okay, Grim. Falling fairly low, almost died there. The last right click ticked him down very low, but he does survive. Instead, Burner shows up with the Reflection, throws it back at Mariano. The level 1 usage of the spell does enable him to at least make sure that the Grimstroke stays alive. They don't want to use and commit the salve though, so Sexy Yogoye is still in a little bit of danger. And now they're actually putting Burner in danger. Sacred Arrow not going to be available because they just used it on a range creep, but nonetheless, they force him back behind the tower, force out the salve, and they know for a fact that there's not that much more regen. So the next time they get any kind of pressure out onto this Grimstroke, probably will end up dying in this bottom lane.
Yeah, I think Sexy Yogi soon is gonna... Oh, they go for Pamplona, they're level 2.
Was it? I think Pamplona's fine. Stroke of Fate does come out. Instead, the turnaround onto this Grimstroke. Sacred Arrow stops Burner in his tracks. Can't keep chasing Mariano. A lot of aggression in this bottom lane here, Astini. Nobody's died just yet, but everybody has felt the sting of their opponent's attacks.
Yeah, it was very nice read by Balrogs because Mirana was still level 1, so he wouldn't have the leap. They did that small aggression, and Pamplona, he still wanna kill Sexy Yogi.
Okay, but Inkswell comes out, will end up stunning Pamplona, and this Mirana trying to leap this way and that, hoping for the additional attack speed to help him kill this Grimstroke, but Sexy Yogi says, nope, that first blood is mine, baby. You came to me, fine, I guess. And this time around, it looks like Balrogs are very happy. You know, they accept the challenge of the fight, but Infinity don't end up winning this early one.
Yeah, and turned out so good for Balrogs because the green, he had no resources, he had no mana, no life, and he needs to buy another salve for TB, so he really wanted to die. He just don't want to feed that first blood, so he got the chance to get first blood himself and then deny to the neutral creeps. So great for Sexy Yogi here.
Definitely a great feeling for him. And other side of the map, thus far, we're seeing why they picked this Gyro, just putting out as much harass as humanly possible in this laning phase. Hasn't really stunted the CS progression of Draken, but definitely has made things annoying in this top lane. So far though, he himself and the Sven are still just trading happily. And it does feel like there's kill potential on both sides here, and everybody has to be so careful with their positioning, lest they get caught by a spell which could lead them into losing their lives very quickly afterwards.
Yeah, and the thing is, Invoker, he can TP on that aggressions and maybe... Oh, they kill this.
Oh, Parker, magic stick. He's still alive. He's get behind the tower. How on earth is he still living? I thought he was dead to rights for sure, but gets handed a tango. Definitely needs a ferry and regen. Do these creeps have it? Sven already getting a morbid mask, but they need a salve or something. That was so close. They will at the very least, it seems, settle for the kill onto this gyrocopter as they throw in the bushwhack. Slow him down, and then slowly but surely run him down, and that's going to be a quick kill for the side of Balrog Esports. So 2 kills on the map for them. They're off already to a better start than they were in game 1.
Yeah, Miran is trying to rotate on me, but RoboZ, what a god.
Nice. Nicely done by RoboZ. Beautiful slight dodge. Not sure if he had the vision of the arrow before it left and came in through the mid lane, but either that or he had the intuition. And because they did this though, they've left Mariano alone down bottom, and they're utilizing this chance on Balrog Esports to attempt to get this kill onto him. They'll just force him back behind the tier 1 tower. So they'll take it. This is a decent situation for them to be able to do that. And everybody's coming so close to dying, but not actually taking over. Even Jisha almost died here on this hoodwink, but does manage to scurry away on this hood. Okay, super close with everybody coming very low, but who's the big winners of all these skirmishes if ultimately, I mean, Balrogs do have some very decent CS for the Ember and the Terrorblade, but this Invoker is also doing quite well here for PP, and it does seem like he's going to be allowed to play a good game, especially if he is part of this kill, which he probably will be. I highly doubt that this Grimstroke will get out of here. He'll just try to delay them as much as possible.
And that's urine charges for him, so now it's good. Because before that, he was expected to win the lane against the Ember, so it was everything as expected. Balrogs were doing a bit better with those trade-offs while they killed the Gyro top. But now that Invoker, he has the urine charges, he can just TP and answer on any lane that Ember tries to rotate. So even though Ember has this Arcane Rune, he can just dispel that with a Tornado.
Yeah.
And if his team is like paying attention up to those rotations, he might get the kills in exchange.
You see on bottom, some more kills might be happening here for Balrogs. Mariano, they can't kill him. Burner. This is some of the weaknesses of playing into a Tide Hunter when you're a physical damage dealer. Just feels so tanky. And now PP making his first rotation on the map. Oh my gosh, Sacred Arrow. It hit the Terrorblade. Burner's in a little bit of danger as well. It needs to be careful. Ember Spirit shows up to render assistance. And RoboZ gets the 1 kill. Might be able to get 2 off of this. Mariano and Pamplona will end up losing their lives. So although PP does come bottom and gets a very good rotation onto the Grimstroke, the Ember's movement even better. And RoboZ now really announcing himself on the map. And I feel it's always the best feeling in the world when you make the rotation to counter the enemies and your rotation ends up working out better for your team than theirs does for them.
Yeah, and this was what I was expecting from PP, because as an Invoker, you can really answer to those rotations. Oh, he goes for Berna.
It's going back in. Didn't leave the bottom lane. And his patience pays off as they manage to find a kill onto Burner. Replenishing the charges en route towards getting the Midas. This is really good. I really thought I was kind of sad for them on the side of Infinity with how that rotation went, but now they got Burner. Haha, we're the ones that are ahead. We're feeling much better about our mid laners' movements.
The patience paid off for sure, and now he's gonna TP top.
Yep. Help him to kill Draken. First arena of the game is committed, and the Tornado connects onto 2. Allows them to kill Draken, and they're looking for the follow-up onto this Hoodwink. Very difficult for this Hoodwink to escape, and it will not happen. Just a straight-up kill. RoboZ yet again makes it a response play, but this time around there's absolutely no potential for setup. Just shows up, has to waste the spell and be like, yeah, well, everyone's already dead. Might as well go back mid to farm.
Yeah, and it's especially good because Mars had wasted the arena. Now Pamplona gets to control the power-up rune, so Ember, he won't have that much resources. They might try to kill him.
Might? Oh no, he's definitely dead. He's 100% dead. My goodness, a mega kill streak already? He's 5-0-1 on PP? Okay, so it seems like on Infinity, you have one of 2 options, right? It's either you're gonna get completely rolled by our boy Parker here, or PP is just gonna have this blistering kind of start and really start to open up aggression on the map, because look what he's doing here, Astini. He's not done. They're already starting to move bottom. They know that there's at least 1 hero behind this tier 1 tower. If they can kill them, they can potentially set up for the tower push itself, but more importantly, they're keeping this train rolling with PP. Also getting some gloves of haste flying in, so he's not going to be that far away from a hand of Midas anymore at this point.
And he's gonna scale so well. I really like when you do that. You don't go directly for the vessel, so you can scale faster by having the Midas. They are almost fighting Sexy Yogi. He might just stay here for the extra XP.
They do get the quick kill onto the gyrocopter in the top lane, but Infinity, given the positioning of everybody else, they'd already sacked that part of the map and were just giving their 5 position a little bit of time to accrue some gold and experience. Did net him the level 6, so ultimately still winds up being worth it for them because they're going to trade the tower. I love that Grim was just still chilling. He's still hanging out. This is real patience play. Doesn't peek out for even a second. He's like, I'm not going to come do that thing where I apply ink salt to myself, look for some random deny. Nah. I'm just going to pick up the free experience. Thank you very much. But they also took the tower fast enough here, Astini, that they are going to be able to come back top and protect their own tier 1.
And they almost got with the arrow. Mars dead.
Bye.
Gyro, he controls the power-up rune. It's not a gyro. You see a gyro with DD, but let's remember it's a gyro 5. But what really matters here is, again, no power-up rune for RoboZ. So he's not making rotations. That's the thing. And the Invoker already 5 kills and 2 assists. So yeah, all the kills on Infinity side, PP was involved. And it makes me go back to draft. Like, you play against them, you don't ban the TA, and you play against them, you don't ban like a last pick Invoker. It's just weird.
Well, they're gonna have to deal with this Invoker now, as Parker will eat an arena in this mid lane. Very similar to what happened in game 1. He's on the low ground. This time he definitely is baiting. However, the bait play did not go as expected. They end up losing the Sven and the Gyro now, taken out by the Spear of Mars on the high ground. They claim away the life of the Grimstroke, but certainly not worth it here for Infinity. And it feels like they always make the same situation happen, right? Where they're a little bit too late on the rotation to come in onto Parker. If they get there in time, potentially the Tornado EMP comes out at the same time as like Ravage, but it doesn't. Ravage though will emerge now. What can they make of this? Draken gets back the God's Rebuke, and they throw a hoodwink bushwhack onto Marciano. They don't manage to kill him, but the sharpshooter hit onto Invoker just might bring him down as PP loses his life. 3 heroes caught inside the Stormhammer, but they still don't yet have the damage to kill everybody. RoboZ trying to dodge a homing missile as they use the Anchor Smash to take out Burner. Homing missile, RoboZ has Slight, so should be able to make this dodge happen with no problem. And they use the Stroke of Fate from the Grimstroke to make sure that the movement slow is online so that RoboZ cannot be chased. Okay, trading the life of PP on the very far edge of the fight for the life of the Terrorblade. After you got the life of Parker and you got the tier 1 middle, I think they're not happy about losing Terrorblade, but they're probably okay with this on the side of Balrogs, right?
The thing is, they didn't trade for Invoker life. If you press enter, you're gonna see he actually died for a neutral creep.
No way! Oh no! Oh no! That is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That is so. It's even sadder by how quickly the Gyro's gonna die here.
Yeah, but the Gyro again, he's protecting PP, so it's fine. He just spotted the smoke. PP's life saved. But still, with that situation on PP, it was kind of worth for them because they use Mata and they take the tier 1 tower. In exchange, Sven popped the ultimate, but didn't manage to get any kills. So it's an okay trade-off. That's what we're gonna see on this game. That's what this game is about. You use Mata, you wanna win a team fight, take an objective. You use God Strength, you would like to have the same. So it's mostly about those two very important cooldowns usage.
Meta will be online again in about 15 seconds. God's Strength has also been utilized a little bit ago by Parker. Of course, this is Infinity, so we're a little bit lax in our diligence to see how many stacks they got for themselves. But right now, Balrog, they're trying to go for his kill onto Mariano. I don't know, y'all. This is a level 10 Tidehunter with you know, this Hood of Defiance, a Soul Ring, and a Bracer. And they very quickly, I think maybe if the Sharpshooter hits, they consider it. But even then, it's not an easy kill to get. And I'm glad they give it up. Yeah, Mariano doesn't have Ravage online, but we've already seen the impact this Tidehunter can have early. But as I speak about that, Ravage is back online. So that means Infinity happy to go in for another smoke movement. Try to find a fight for themselves in another big team fight. Sadly, Hoodwink too good with the positioning, sitting inside the Roshan pit on the lip of the entrance, managing to break the smoke in its entirety. You love to see it. This is why we pick these elusive support heroes, so that they can do stuff like this, open up space on the map for us. I mean, it would have been a absolute disaster if they got to burner and killed him. So very, very big play to make sure that the smoke gank goes effectively nowhere for Infinity.
Yeah, but it was a really weird smoke from Infinity, if I may say, because it's like all the heroes from Balrogs they were missing, and they were just like going straight to enemy strangle, where I don't think it was gonna be a good team fight for them. Because the Tidehunter was not on the smoke, Tidehunter was farming jungle, and they're not on any item timing, so if the Sven had the dagger, I would completely understand, or if the Tidehunter had the dagger, or yeah, that's it. But they were on no timings for items, and I don't feel they have that initiation power till they get the daggers. So very weird smoke, to be honest.
PP went for the full Midas, so he's going to start building already into Aghanim Scepter, because they're going to combo up with that dagger you mentioned. It's coming soon from Mariano, and it's also coming not that far away from the Sven. RoboZ, though, wants to make sure that any items for the gyrocopter will take quite a while as they get this early kill. Potentially, he's not dead just yet. Arrow came in from Pamplona. Instead, they took out RoboZ, and with that Ravage setup, Parker shows up to clean up the Mars. Oh gosh, what just happened? It looked so good. It looked like there was a guaranteed gyrocopter kill, but looks like Infinity didn't need the smoke gank. They just walked straight into Balrog and killed some of their most important heroes.
Yeah, that's one thing good about Tidehunter, how well you protect your farming area, and that's what Infinity should be looking for while he finds the Hoodwink.
Feels like Hoodwink should get out of here. They're bringing in heroes though, Burner with the meta. They would like to be able to defend this tower, at the very least deny it, and they do get that. And now, setting up onto Parker, RoboZ found the initial stun. Parker looking for the turnaround, Tornado onto Draken. There's no arena, but it doesn't seem like they'll need it. Raw right clicks should be more than enough to take out the Sven. As he falls, they also find Searing Chains out onto Pamplona on the high ground. Going to be 2 kills being brought down here. Infinity suddenly needing to flee, using the Moonlight Shadow to retreat as quickly as they can. They do manage to get away here, but big turnaround there from Balrog. They also got the tower deny as well, so things are looking a little bit up for them in that situation.
And they will have the gyro that might get a hoodwink in exchange. Position 5 for position 4.
Okay, gyro. One's up, stays alive,
gyro.
and Mariano's in. They got the gush out onto Draken, revealing the blink dagger on the Tidehunter as well. The call down from gyro will slow Draken down enough that Mariano can follow up with the final right click. RoboZ does manage to escape. Where did the Sunstrike go? It was going onto this Grimstroke. Sexio Goye, will he escape this? Has an Ink Swell at the ready, but I don't think there's any hope of getting out. PP is right here, prepared to drop the Soul Jar charge. They do eventually also bring down the gyrocopter in this mid lane. RoboZ comes in for the cleanup, but at that point, it's feeling like #worth. You've set up so much for your team, you've gotten so much out of it, that you'll happily lose the gyro if it means getting 2-3 heroes again every single time that happens.
Yeah, the gyro is tanking so much for a position 5, and the name of this game is overextension from one side into the other side, into the other side back again. It's just so back and forth, because they first had that amazing kill with the Ravage protecting their jungle, then they go for the mid tier 1 towers, then ultimate runs out, still they fight into meta, they lose everything, then Balrogs, they still want to fight without meta, then they lose.
Man, Balrogs have a major vendetta against SHCCD here, because they keep running these spells on him, and Gyrocopter keeps surviving everything. Draken forced to use Spear of Mars to just toss back Mariano. Oh, look at this. Parker gets the catch onto RoboZ. The Ember Spirit does manage to turn around with some Searing Chains, prevent the further chase. But did you see how much damage those 2 hits did? Alacrity on God Strength. Woo! Very, very scary indeed from the Sven. And that is sort of a harbinger of things to come as time goes on. It's just how much damage will come out from him. It feels like all they really need is this BKB at this point, and then the games can really, really begin here for the Infinity lineup.
Yeah, Infinity, they still have Ravage, although they don't have Sven ultimate. It's gonna... So I feel like Balrogs, they have an opening now, because they have meta and Sven doesn't have ultimate. So even if they force the Ravage, there won't be damage to follow up. So they should be the ones pressuring the map now. They shouldn't be like split pushing. That's what Drakel is doing. Because then you just have Sven with the ultimate back again, and I don't feel like they can take that fight when all cooldowns are up.
Yeah. Definitely team fighting in that regard, you know. You have Arena, they have Ravage. Just a very different sort of initiation. And RoboZ, speaking of this Ravage, he is on the high ground right now. Despite knowing the spell's available, he has confidence in himself to dodge it, so not completely concerned. But unfortunately, Grimstroke, not many options you have against Tidehunter. Sunstrike, Sacred Arrow, gonna be enough to lock him in down and kill him. Well done. That is going to be 4v5 around the Roshan pit. They don't really have the tools for the Aegis just yet, but they are about to get back the God Strength. So if they want to here, they can now turn around and try and exploit a small timing. Feeling strong because, you know, last time you were asking yourself, why are they moving on this map before they have their item timings? This time, if they do decide to gank, they're not just doing it off of having already Tidehunter Blink, off of BKB being about to be finished for the Sven, but they're also about to finish the Aghanim Scepter for PP, so a massive power spike is about to get reached here, Astini, for the side of Infinity. And if they do decide to make something happen on the map, Balrogs aren't necessarily positioned just yet to be able to protect themselves from that full aggression if they go right after these items arrive.
Yeah, I think they should be going for Roche right now, like literally right now. Don't even go for that Mars, just go for Roche, because you have the BKB on Sven, and you don't want to wait till TB has Skadi, so you have that very small window.
Well, after the Sunstrike and God Strength used by Parker, they don't really have a choice, right? You have to go into the pit right now.
Yeah.
And Infinity, they're really thinking about it, but they smoke first. Okay, are they going to look for a... Okay, I think maybe they'd want another pick off, but Balrogs are fully aware of this as well. They're immediately backing off, waiting for their Grimstroke to come back online. And this is a lot of time not hitting this Aegis, that they could be hitting it right now, but the fight will still come. They smoke back as well. They get the steering chains out onto Parker. BKB is at the ready. Blink Dagger on cooldown. Let's see if Jisha will be able to find a good sharpshooter or a bushwhack. Not just yet. And with Grimstroke having fully respawned, it's a 5v5 again, but Infinity, smoke is popped, but they're not done. They still want to go back in. Moonlight Shadow is on the offing, but Parker no longer has access to this double damage from the God Strength. We'll get a bit of a buffer from PP with the Alacrity though. Oh, they find Parker with this start onto RoboZ, but they don't really want to jump onto this. They don't know who's behind him. Does also feel like Ember Spirit's not necessarily the best target to start a fight off of, so they will let him go, and the Cold War around the Roshan pit will continue.
Yeah, now I feel like Balrogs should just go Roche again. sorry, yeah, Balrogs. As I felt for Infinity, they had their timing, now it's Balrogs. They have Skadi, there's no God Strength, so they have that 30 seconds window where they are so strong.
Oh god, and they also just found Parker. BKB is active, but BKB TP out. I'm not sure it's going to be good enough. There's so much physical damage, and indeed it isn't. Oh my gosh. Sven dead with no buyback here, Astini. This Roshan, will they go in for it here? They know that there's Ravage. They know that there's a lot of spells from Invoker, but okay, there it is. Blink Ravage with Cataclysm follow-up. Do they have enough to kill Terrorblade? They do. Both cores down for the count, and an arena from Draken catches absolutely everybody. Enables RoboZ to destroy the backlines of the fight. 3 heroes fall in the blink of an eye. A double kill for the Ember, and with the Hoodwink tracking down Mariano, I doubt the Tide can escape either. Did a great job with the Ravage burst onto Terrorblade, but it ends up costing your life and everybody else's lives. It's a full team wipe for Balrog Esports. And if, unfortunately, Astini, unfortunately, the one hero who could do Roche is dead. So they can't even go into the Aegis despite the massive win around the pit.
Yeah, but it's a good trade-off for Balrogs, even if they don't get the Aegis, because, well, Ember now is gonna be so huge. He's so close to his Agonies, and he was so behind of the Invoker. I don't understand Infinity decision. It's like, okay, we don't have our hard carry. If we use all our spells, we also take out their hard carry. But then they still have 4 heroes, and you have completely nothing, because you just use Ravage plus Cataclysm to kill the TB.
Yep. Literally
now he has
everything.
Sven back. He has God Strength. He has BKB, but you can't do Roche at all because you don't have Ravage, you don't have Cataclysm.
Yeah. Still have to wait for some time here. I really can't believe this Roshan is still alive. Like, given how long both teams have been fighting around this area, but nobody's been able to really feel super confident about walking into the pit to claim their advantage. So now, Infinity, with having all their heroes back but none of their cooldowns, they're still gonna farm and not stray too far away from this area. PP, what does PP go next year? After you've got the Aghanim Scepter, is it Spirit Vessel time, or do you angle towards getting a BKB for yourself to ensure that you also have some degree of protection in these fights?
I think BKB. I think BKB or even Dagger. It depends on player comfort. Sometimes you feel like you can be alive by having a Dagger and being able like to kite Arena, which I strongly believe he could. But BKB would be the safer choice.
Gyrocopter has 4 staff, doesn't need BKB, able to get away from the initiation of Robo-Z that came very, very close. And Sven's going for this Orchid now. There's no BKB on the Ember Spirit, so if they do ever jump onto him, they can kill him. 100-0 now suddenly. Also, there's a Manta on Burner, but no BKB just yet for the Terrorblade, so they also have options for them to be able to silence him up. I suppose later on you can turn this into a Bloodthorn, but interesting utility decision here from Parker. Do you prefer this over going, say, for a Chrysalis, Silver Edge, straight SNY? How do you feel about the decision to go for the more utility-based Orchid here for Parker?
I find it interesting because they really understand that Amber is also a problem. I guess that's the hero they want to target for. But I think that item doesn't scale because soon Amber is gonna have BKB, Mars already has, TB is also gonna have BKB, so I'm not a big fan of that item. Also because like I feel if you jump into green or Hoodwink, they're just dead. You don't need to silence them, so...
Yeah. Well, we'll see now as they have very nice soul bind onto the 2 supports of Infinity. This Grimstroke will die for this, but just created space. That's all he needed to do. This feels like a lot like deja vu here, Astini. I feel like not too long ago, we were in this exact same situation. Grimstroke dead, God Strength popped by Parker, and Infinity thinking about taking Roche. Last time they sort of lost their nerve and ended up trying to force a fight, but looks like this time around the team communication is on point to say, yo, nothing's more important than this Aegis right now. Grab it before the Terrorblade does. And PP also doing the right thing of quickly killing Hoodwink, but primarily preventing anybody from trying to steal it from this high ground area. And they now have this Aegis, the double life available on Sven. You know, obviously you don't get God Strength on life number 2, but still, you can at least leverage this on the map right now to ensure that they don't try fights into you on the side of Balrogs.
Yeah, now I see Infinity taking the best decision, what they should already have done on the last time they had that window. And now we're gonna see if Balrogs, if they really don't understand that concept that you can actually skip a team fight, because they shouldn't fight now. Because Ravage still up. Infinity, they have all the tools to win a team fight with 2 lives on Sven. So they have Ember, a hero that's amazing for split pushing. They don't have any, let's say, sort of direct control like Vice or a Lion or Puck and hero that can get you split pushing. You have the TB illusions, so you can really skip that fight, and that's what I would like to see Balrogs doing. I don't like to see when they go all in.
Well, they're going all in now, baby. Parker, the first one, gone in, all in on. He gets brought down. There's immediately a Ravage to follow up as well. No buyback for the Ember. Arena dropped down onto PP. He doesn't have a defensive way out of this fight either, as he doesn't have a BKB. At the same time, they get the Bushwhack out onto the Gyrocopter. Will they be able to get the kill? One more right click. All they need, they do it. At the same time, they do lose Grimstroke elsewhere in the fight, so Parker can still come in on the backline of this, not fearful of an Inkswell ruining his day. The Forge Spirit scouting things out, and there's going to be the Stormhammer. He's going in, activates the BKB, Sacred Arrow crashes onto the Mars, and they do manage to bring him down. But it does cost the first life away from the Sven. Tied now on the Terrorblade, trying to chase him to the ends of the earth. Parker, they want to make sure they keep the slow out on the Sven, so he can't blink after anybody. But instead of keeping the chase onto Terrorblade, he's like, you know what, let's go for the easy kill. I just lost the Aegis. They take a big fight here, but given where the fight happened and given that they were already sort of in a position to win team fights, this doesn't feel that great to me, having to give up the Aegis so soon after claiming it from the Roshan.
And Honestly, it goes for both sides that they just can't like take a deep breath and wait for 10 seconds. Like Balrogs, they should not take the team fight, but okay, it was okay-ish. But for Infinity, they forced meta and they still had ultimate on Sven, so they wait for more 15 seconds till meta is done, and they just like can win massively team fight, can kill the TB, can kill everything and win the game. But no, he just jumps onto a support while there's still 15 seconds of meta, and he loses his first life, and that's also your ultimate effect.
Yep.
So then he couldn't fight anymore. I think they just need a little bit more of patience. Like, those players, they're so good, but this decision making, they're just running out of patience, of discipline. And they fought Berna.
This kill seems unlikely. BKB active. Just quick turnaround. They're gonna be able to find the Mirana. Moonlight Shadow buys time for everybody else to escape, but still, good way to be able to force out a BKB charge, I suppose, from Burner. Now down to 7 seconds at this point. Mirana, yeah, it definitely does feel like both teams need to take a little bit of a Zen Buddhism class. Just chill, relax, you know, breathe in, focus on the breath. Just focus on the breath, yo. And don't worry about how this game is going. But instead, they're really worried and they're very concerned. And it's showing in how they're playing on the map, right? Everybody feels under a lot of pressure to try and make something happen. Like PP now, he's scouting past this Hoodwink, thinking about trying to make a jump, but instead they actually make the jump on the other side. RoboZ gets gone on. There's still a tier 1 tower alive. They do manage to bring down the gyrocopter before reinforcements show up. Parker was the first one to make his way here. And do they find the silence? Not just yet. RoboZ gonna die though. The right click damage from Parker with the alacrity going. Literally more than 500 damage. It's perfectly fine to kill heroes. TP's out though will be there on the supports. And RoboZ, had they just not wanted to dive for the gyrocopter, he'd still be alive right now. They might even have gotten the tower and gotten out, but really wanted that gyro kill. He gets it, but it's a very expensive kill to find for yourself.
It's really weird because they had the awareness that Invoker was in the region. They could like just drop a sentry and go for the Invoker. But I believe they had the feeling, okay, someone is joining the Invoker, so we killed that someone that's just TPing. Let's dive under the tower. But diving under the tower is not the best decision, especially if you have a TB on your lineup. TB, he just want to sit there and hit targets. So if you're diving far away of him, he can't do damage. You just need to control targets nearby the TB, not dive other targets.
From that fight though, now they are starting to look a little bit rough right now. It's a 6k gold lead that they've extended. Ember is still in the grave, so there's no counter from RoboZ right now in order to deal with this impending smoke from Infinity. Also, look what they're doing. Pamplona, oh my god, they're trying to lay a trap. Parker and Pamplona, they might be waiting for this Ember to try and reveal himself through bottom and then jump on him. RoboZ though knows better. Has no vision on this jungle outside of this north part of the outpost. He knows that there were heroes in this area. He knows that they were going to head through this part of the map to go towards either through to middle or top. So wise enough to first link up with his team before deciding to go into the jungle. You love to see it. I think the time in the grave gave him some opportunities to think and breathe. And he's like, all right, guys, we'll be okay. We'll play a little bit more calmly when I respawn, because I don't think they can afford another bad fight where they end up losing, especially this Terrorblade.
Yeah, and RoboZ, he definitely has the feeling by now that the game is just playable with BKB. No, don't smoke. Okay. I was finally happy to see him farming because he really needs that BKB. Otherwise, he's just like one shot with the Bloodthorn. And he was so close to that item, and he's been close to it since 5 minutes, but he's just dying over and over.
Okay, Astini, check this out, right? So, remember when you were super far behind and you couldn't get Maelstrom? And then he got that triple kill, and then he had Maelstrom immediately afterwards, right? So, if he just gets another triple kill, then he'll just have BKB. I literally see no problem with this plan here. Like, you know, just kill the whole enemy team and get the free item. It's awesome.
Or he just die again and delays for more 2 minutes the item, because like he's not farming for the last minute trying to find a kill, and his hero can be everywhere in the map farming. There's like amazing wave on top lane that could be his farm. There's jungle farm. Yeah.
Just not finding anything for himself right now.
you go for a 5-man smoke under a tier 2 tower. Like, of course, the other team has minimap. They can just look at it and they see the 3 waves of themselves are pushing. Even against a TB and Ember, they know something's wrong.
Yeah.
They can feel the smell of that smoke from far, far away.
They're all playing close together. Oh no, Moonlight Shadow. Draken in a dangerous place. And, okay, does manage to get off the BKB. The vision, thanks to the sentry, does allow him to see that they're coming for him here. And they manage to kill the Hoodwink elsewhere. Ravage now coming in from Mariano. They've managed to melt down Draken. But here's Burner going in on the fight. Eye of Skadi turning in the right clicks. They do manage to take out the Sven in the grave with no buyback. The question is, can Burner get out of here? Stunned out by the homing missile. Robo Z creating space by jumping onto the 2 supports. Oh no! Sacred Arrow onto Burner, but they can't get there for access to the anchor smash. He tried his best on the Tidehunter. Couldn't make it happen. Dies and drops the gem. Everything turning to misery in a heartbeat. Why did they take the fight? They saw him use BKB on Draken. Why didn't he just pop BKB and walk away from the arena here? Oh gosh. Parker with the hyper aggression. They end up losing out everything there, Astini.
Yeah, and PP just had a solo kill at the Hoodwink, so he used Cataclysm for that. So the Cataclysm was wasted 1 second within the team fight, and there was no Invoker. It was an easy decision for this Vent to just back off there and get happy that PP had 1 pick off. But no, they decided to take the fight, and I must say, amazing play by Saxyogi. TB was stunned, and like Tidehunter, first he got silenced, so he tried to walk for that last hit on TB, but he was just body blocking the Tidehunter. Such a godlike play that saves Berna.
Yeah, truly incredible stuff that we see here from the Grimstroke. And anybody watching right now, it behooves you to clip that, because we need to say a shout out to the Grimstroke. Sexy Ogoye doing amazing stuff by making sure that the Terrorblade survives that fight. It's a very different game if Terrorblade dies, but Terrorblade stays alive. Now they get to go potentially kill Gyro and still move in for a Roshan. Big man's not up just yet. 30 seconds before he returns. It's a fairly long respawn timer here, but Infinity don't feel like they'll be able to fight it off even when he does come back online, and they could have just chilled. Just exactly like what you were saying. Both teams just incapable at this point in time of taking the, not going all in. Everything has to be, we're fighting right now. This is the last fight we're ever going to take. Utilize all our spells, send all our heroes, pop all the BKBs. Hasn't been working out for them, and oh, Pamplona. Nice leap away from the arena. Inkswell also will not connect. PP now has BKB for protection. They do manage to blink away on Mariano as well. They can't protect the tier 2 tower, but they do manage to keep their heroes alive.
Yeah, and I was for a while worried with Balrogs. If they just wanted to go all in again, as all teams are doing. Because if they dive here, they had buyback on Invoker and Tidehunter. So even though they can get that kill, you just buy back and turn the fight. Yeah. So they need to be careful here.
Look where Parker is. He's making a very deep rap attempt. Oh, Burner. Okay, they get out the BKB, the right clicks. Mariano, buyback. You have to buy back. You don't have an option. Insta buyback from the Tidehunter here. Wants to return into the fray. Ooh, a little bit of lag spike is going to be connecting, as we're about to see a fight start around the Roshan pit. And if this tornado connects, if Mariano was here, they could easily jump in. It would be an amazing opportunity for a Ravage, but without him, it's just going to be a tornado connection. However, though, Astini, Burner doesn't have BKB anymore. This is suddenly a very dangerous place to be, because there's Orchids, there's Cataclysms, there's Ravages, there's cooldowns, there's Sacred Arrows. Despite RoboZ still having BKB, Draken still having BKB. Draken doesn't have Arena. They don't have access to this BKB on Burner. Do they have to leave this pit? Do they take the risk of trying to force the Aegis?
I'll say something that might sound stupid, but the best move here for Infinity is wait till they actually kill the Roche, and then you just fight and kill TB twice without the meta. Because TB is not the best Aegis carrier, because I think they can steal the Roche even without BKB, because he has Butterfly. Yeah. So he's safe from that right click. Of course, there's still damage with the blue thorn that you're gonna have true strike, but he's not that easy of a target because he has teammates to protect him. He has Green Stroke with the Soulbind, he has a Force Staff. He has the tools on his team to survive even without BKB.
Balrog Esports.
But Infinity, they're doing well. They need to wait for that meta, and they are doing that very well. Now things look great for Infinity, to be honest.
Meta just finished. God Strength is up from Parker, and they're inside the pit here. Draken still doesn't have... Oh, he just got the ultimate back now. Soulbind going out onto the two cores, and a BKB will emerge. Sven takes the Aegis. There was a Ravage on the other side of the fight. It caught Parker. It caught Robo D, rather. He almost died, but he gets off the BKB. Parker, who else will he be able to jump on now after this Draken hero is dead? He's thinking about the Grimstroke, but they'll go for the easier kill first onto the Toadwink, eliminating him from the fight. TB already TP'd out. Burner saw that it was a lost cause. They do finally manage to remove this Grimstroke 2 from the fray, but ultimately Infinity doing the right thing. Do exactly what you say. Wait for meta to go down. They don't have meta. We have God Strength. We are stronger. We take the Aegis. We get the Aghanim Shard. We take the fight as well. And now potentially we're looking to take tier 2 towers because we also want to take your outposts.
Yeah, and that's a good example of what I was mentioned that could have happened in the top team fight. You just use your spells to kill a hero that has buyback. Yeah. So Mariano, he was clever enough to, let's say, die. And then his death was really worth because the BKB from TB made him scared to fight. And Infinity, they had the patience. They took the deep breath. Oh, I love it.
It looks like the key here, Astini, is that one of the core heroes needs to die, spend some time in the fountain, needs to die like in a very frivolous way, spend some time in the fountain and be like, okay, I don't want to die like that again. What do we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen? Okay, guys, here's the plan. So that time around, it was Mariano. You know, before we saw Balrogs, it was RoboZ that died like that, and then he led his team to success. Mariano makes it happen this time. However, it does feel like the success for Infinity might be a bit more long-lasting than it was for Balrogs. We have a large suite of items that are being queued up for Infinity, and they're not too far away from. Double Ravage will be available for Mariano. This Invoker also going for double Cataclysm, double BKB, double Hex. It's going to be available. And the Sven, look what he's got here. Full Satanic. So even if you are able to survive the initial salvo of right-click damage and start right-clicking him back as TB, you have a long way to punch through now that he has the Satanic, and it's a lot easier for him to keep this right click up with the Swift Blink because he's got a ton of additional agi going for himself.
Yeah, Invoker's so strong. For a while I stopped looking at PP, and now that you look at him with the BKB Dagger, Agnes Vice, he's just so strong that Midas pay off so well. And of course, not just a Midas guy. Don't rush Midas and think you're gonna have all items. He's 10, 3, 17. So he's part of 27 of the 30 kills of his team, so active in the map, also split pushing the lines. That's the next thing they should take care of because they're against a TB. So it's quite hard to push against a TB because that wave pushing is so hard because you will always have one lane pushing against you as they do on the top lane now. Also RoboZ going there, and Balrogs, that's the room they have for some outplay. Just keep splitting the map or go for a kill on Parker.
Well, Parker just popped BKB, God Strength, went onto the high ground so they could take the lane of Rax, and they pop. This is so great. What counterplay do you have against this? They just use Moonlight Shadow, they get out. They know that even with Terrorblade, you don't have enough damage to kill Parker through the BKB Alacrity before he takes the buildings, and they just rinse through a straight up lane of Rax with no counterplay, no response. Balrogs, they even drew back RoboZ. You were literally talking about how he's split pushing this map, opening up space for them, and he came back to try and make sure that the base stayed alive, but wound up being a wasted rotation. Does still find a quick catch here onto this gyro. They're hoping to be able to find that kill as Draken also finds Pamplona. You hate to see it. Missed the indecision and misdirection ends up punishing Balrogs, and because of that, they don't get any kill despite being able to find stuns onto both supports at different times.
Yeah, and meta is over, so if I'm Infinity here, I just run down mid. Like, literally run down mid because you get your Protector wave. That's the thing you should be worried about. If you're not walking together with your lane, so like Sven's farming jungle, Invokers looking for pickoffs, then you might not win the game. But if you protect your lane, there's no meta. There's no way they can fight into that.
Yeah. PP. About to get the refresher orb as well, so the combo is fully online. They do have a Terrorblade picking up Satanic, however, you know, he's sitting with a lot of gold in the inventory, ready and waiting to be able to buy back into this game in the event that he dies. However, it does not feel like he's going to have the full chance to use a lot of this. Invoker can pretty much chain disable you alone now. That's really scary that PP is capable of doing so. And Terrorblade, they might need to find a Lincoln Sphere somewhere on this team here, Astini, or a Lotus Orb or something. Just some way to be able to dispel the initiation that's going to come from this Invoker. Otherwise, Burner does feel like he's going to have a bit of a hard time in these upcoming fights for himself.
Yeah, Burner's going for the refresher, so he has the double BKB. Usually you see TB is going for the Agony, so you have that extra meta. But he really feels like what he's needing here is being able to have BKB, because without BKB, he's just dead. And yeah, the team could maybe build a Lincoln Sphere to help him, but it's such an expensive item.
Yep.
And they go for the smoke. Aegis is expired. If you look at buyback status, Invoker doesn't have one, Tide doesn't, so those could be good kills. The Gyro is just like, he doesn't care.
Yep. How many deaths has Gyro put in this game like this, where you're just tanking the gank? 12 deaths so far for the Gyro, but it still doesn't feel like he's far behind at all. And they might find Parker here, but maybe this is an overextension from RoboZ. There is a BKB active from him, dodging the first Ravage from Mariano. And now they got the Soul Bind onto both Parker as well as PP. But the turnaround, Cataclysm, Ravage, Parker with the right clicks. Terrorblade down and out. Dragon's gonna follow him. They just didn't have the damage. They got the spells off, they got the connections. They thought they had it, but Terrorblade wasn't actually allowed to just sit there right-clicking out. And because he's not allowed to do that, he dies and has to watch the rest of his team doing the same. All 4 dead, make that 5, because Parker wants the whole hog, chases down the squirrel, eats it for breakfast. It's a full 5-hero wipe, and they lost, Astini, absolutely nothing. Just took that fight clean.
Yeah. That's a play that I try to explain to teams I coach that makes absolutely no sense. It's just like your brain, anxiety, I want to get out of this game, so let's lose fast. Because your smoking to enemy triangle makes absolutely 0 sense at that point of the game. So yeah. I feel bad for them, because they're super good players, but seems just like they're under stress and they want to get rid of it.
Well, one of the ways to be able to get rid of that stress for yourself here, Astini, is to defend the high ground by having to buy back on 4 different heroes. The only hero who did not buy back was Draken, only because he lacks it, but every single other person utilized this. And now you're in this ultra precarious situation, right? Infinity knows that over the next 7 minutes, all they have to do to not lose the game is just make sure somebody has buyback. And then you're always in a good position. And oh no way does this Roach spawn right now. Okay, let's see. Double damage rune. Parker's in the pit. How long? That's not long at all, but at least it's long enough for the double damage to expire. Thank goodness. Thought Roshan was going to be, you know, just gifting himself towards infinity. However, the Scrimstroke definitely is doing that. Just going to be given away. Parker didn't even need to actually chase him for the kill. The Soul Rend from this Bloodthorn would have killed him. And they also catch RoboZ. No! How did that happen? Blink Hex from PP. That's how it happened. And he's not done just yet. His Tornado caught Draken. His Cold Snap cancels Draken's CP attempt. Dude, he's just... PP, man. PP. Doing everything to enable his team to get into a winning position. And 100 seconds, no Ember. What's the option here, Astini? How do you stay in this game without RoboZ?
Honest answer? Because you don't. You don't. They can even do damage through the backdoor protection here.
Yep. They're gonna try for one last Hail Mary though. Burner putting damage onto Parker, but Parker is taking literally no damage after he activates Satanic. And now PP's able to set up the Hex. Second Ravage from Mariano. That's just it. That's done. There's no way out of this. Well, there is one way out of this situation, and that's just calling GG. Balrog Esports, despite having a different style brought to the table, despite having this TB, despite having RoboZ on his Ember, doing everything he could, ultimately just was not enough. And Infinity, they take this 2-0 clean as a whistle here, Astini. What a performance. What a performance. What a performance coming in right now from the side of Infinity.
Very well played by Infinity. So every time we try to point someone as a favorite, seems like they start losing. So I will not jinx Infinity. I'll just say, okay, they're fine. They might win. Because we are like, okay, Wolf, they're the favorites. And then they lose to Balrogs. Okay, now Balrogs, they're the favorites. And they lose to Infinity. I'm scared if we say Infinity is the favorite, they might just lose their next match. And I don't want to jinx them because they're playing so well. And I would really love to see they show this Dota at Division 1. I'm very excited to see their next matches.
Yeah, they looked really solid in this game. They now 3-0 up in the group. They're at the very top, and they're not just at the top in the situation where there's other teams underneath them who seem close. They're at the top now emphatically, right? They've opened up the gap a little bit. Balrogs is 2-1 as a result of this matchup. Infinity being 3-0 means that you just have to win 2 more matches, and then it starts to look almost locked in for you, and you're always going to be in contention for that top 2 spot, provided you do so. They're looking very good as well. They've defeated all the teams that look like heavy favorites, and honestly, the way they played this game was really impressive. They had a lot of good ideas in both different drafts. That's one thing I always love to see, right? It's one thing if a team is winning with one strategy, Parker TA killing everything, it is what it is, but he really hard carried game 1. Game 2, a bit of a rougher showing. He started to show up later in the game. However, PP went out of this world on the level. At some point, you mentioned that he was involved in 27 of the team's 30 kills. That's 90% kill involvement at that point. He ends the game 13, 3, and 21. Are you kidding me? How is that even possible, right? Only 6 kills that his team got in this game that he wasn't directly involved in. So PP, stellar performance from him. And you love to see when a team has 2 different players, not just 2 different drafts, but 2 different players they can rely on and say, you do everything for us. And he did it amazingly. So Infinity, definitely congratulations for them. But for Balrog Esports, outside of the curse, right? What do you think they could have done differently here? Outside of, there were some draft issues, of course, but what do you think the biggest takeaways? If you're the coach right now, you have to sit the team down. You have to figure out what you could have done to rather win the matchup. What would you be telling them at this point in time?
I would show the overextension that the team made on multiple team fights. Talk a little bit about the buyback importance, that you want to fight with those buybacks. You want to fight under somewhere you can TP with those buybacks, because if you're gonna smoke to enemy triangle, then you do 5 buybacks, you're stuck at your base. If you do it at your base, it's a 10 against 5 team fight that you can win. If it's under a post you control, something like this. So they need to play more calmly and understand where they want to take team fights, because they do fight well. They are great players. They have good laning phase, good mechanics, some good decision making, but those crucial decisions, there's still a good room for improvement.
Well, with those wise words from Astini, and hopefully Balrog will take those to heart. Room for improvement always. Hell, even for Infinity, the team that won, there's still always room for improvement, especially if they're serious about their journey into the upper division, their journey potentially into the second major, and their journey, hopefully, towards TI. We'll see if they can make that full run. For now, they can rest on their laurels, just be happy with their flowers, and start to build the steam needed to get into the upper division. That will, sadly though, wrap it up for us here, casting this game with this wonderful 2-0 victory. However, we're not done just yet. There's still more Dota to come. The upper division of the South American DPC will continue very, very shortly, right here on this channel, so you don't have to go anywhere. Just keep it locked, chill, relax. That game is going to be in a little bit of time though, since Infinity, with this very fast victory, have given us a bit of a break in between. So we have about for another 50 minutes before we go live yet again. And when we return after that, we will be on panel, myself and Astini. Will not be in the game itself. However, you already heard the prophecies from Astini. So you know full well that if he's on panel, it'll be even more prescient from him. And you certainly do not want to miss it. This has been the lower division. Balrogs Esports go down a 0-2 to the inside of Infinity, and we'll see how the rest of the league shapes up. Make sure you don't miss out. Make sure that you are following the homeboy Astini. Where can the people find you before we go out here? Exactly how, if they want to track down more of your wisdom and knowledge here, Astini, what do the people need to do to get to you?
That's my on Twitter, Felipe Astini. Yeah, they can find me on Twitter, and of course, they can find me here at the Epulze Gaming Cast. So yeah, follow the channel because I plan to be back here many more times.
Well, I don't think you have a choice, good sir. We're dragging you back here, kicking and screaming, whether you like it or not. And with that, we're going to go out. Make sure you follow me as well. You can see the handle beneath me too. And when we return, it's going to be some upper division action. Till then, make sure to tell someone in your life that you love them. Drink some water, go take a walk. And when we come back, more incredible Dota 2 action.